recently I shared a post that grabbed some people's attention and some questions came and the questions that came up was, like, why would you say that? Why would you think that? Or, why would you encourage people to fire their accountant? And I wanted to take a chance to explain a little bit more, give a little bit more context of why I think this is very, very important messaging for business owners. And the post that I shared, as you can see, like here's the picture of the post that I shared was, when to fire your accountant. And because part of it is that there are a lot of things that business owners are struggling with. And so I spent the last, 18 or so months talking to, I think when I was doing the math last night, I've talked to 400 and I think it was 8 business owners in the last 18 months of just doing one-on-one interviews, conversations with them. And there's a lot of things that I learned in talking to those, 400 plus business owners over the last 18 months, as well as the business owners that I'm actively coaching with and working with and helping them understand some things. And I started to see a very, very common trend, which is why I strongly stand behind the message that there are many business owners that you do need to fire your accountant. And for various reasons. But before I go into that a little bit further, some people ask, well, well, what's your background on this? Like, why should anyone care what you have to say about accounts? I'll say the first thing I would tell you is, I mean, here's a visual of my background, kind of my resume. I mean, my background is accounting and finance. I am a CPA. I am an accountant that supports business owners. So one of the things that I recognize is that being an accountant, yes, I worked very hard to become a CPA, and that designation does carry a lot of value. It carries a lot of weight, but that does not excuse me from still having to deliver value to my clients. Meaning, like, I can't just say, hey, because I'm a CPA, it should give me some type of business or job security. Like, I still have to deliver value, which is why, like I said, I run my own accounting and my bookkeeping and fractional CFO firms where I'm working with clients, helping them understand what the numbers mean and helping them work through those challenges, answering some critical questions in their business. In 2021, my firm was recognized in the New York Times. It was in that series that they were doing for 100 Black-owned businesses you love. We were the only accounting firm that was recognized in that series. And also, this year I was named a 40 under 40 CPA. So I really do appreciate and I find a lot of value in accountants. But one of the things that I have noticed as I look at some of my counterparts in the accounting and the finance field is we've kind of gotten a little lazy on really delivering the value. And from a business perspective, if you're a business owner, you should not be paying for something that is not delivering value to you. Your job is not to make sure, hey, your accountant has a source of income. Your job is to lead the business and do what is best to take care of the people in your business and to actually take care of your business. And if your accountant isn't helping you achieve that, your accountant isn't helping you find better ways to help be able to take care of your people and to take care of your business, then that may not be the right accountant for your business. Now, there's a couple of things that I noticed in, like I said, all the interviews that I did with a ton of business owners. And these were probably some of the biggest reasons why I decided to create this course and why I decided to come up with this information. The first one is really a lot of business owners were struggling to actually know their numbers. Knowing your numbers is critical to you being successful. And there were a lot of accountants that weren't helping people actually know their numbers. I mean, I can't count the number of people that I talked to that said, hey, apparently based on my numbers, we did about 750,000 in revenue last year. But when I look at my bank account, I have no idea where the money went. And I said, are you working with an accountant? And they were like, yeah, I have an accountant. And I said, okay, all right. Immediately, if you did 750,000 in your business and you don't know where the money went and your accountant isn't helping you answer that question, I'm like, you probably should fire that account. Like, that's probably not the right accountant for you. You probably need to work with someone who understands or someone who's going to take the time to really help you understand the numbers in your business. And here are some of the critical areas when it came down to bookkeeping, understanding what your gross margin was and understanding what cash flow was. These were three things that I helped, business owners understand, like, hey, here's what these are. And one of the common things that I heard is, man, my accountant isn't helping me with any of those things. And I said, okay, all right, we need to really take a step back. Maybe it's that, hey, you need to go back and ask your accountant, like, hey, I need help on figuring these three things out, and see what they tell you. Oh, but if they come back to you and they say, yeah, we can help you, but they don't actually help you, it's time that you may need to find another accountant. Now, the other one that really, really sent the rate off for me was when I started, I was working on some stuff and talking to some business owners, and I heard a ton of things that business owners were saying. And they were saying that they got this advice from such and such. And I said, oh my gosh, like, if you follow that person's advice, you're going to end up in jail. So I did this one seminar with a couple economic development centers throughout North Carolina and nationally, to where I did this course called, the Stay Out of Jail Plan. It was a course specific to their groups, because I started hearing so many accountants giving people advice, or people were hearing advice that I'm like, yeah, that's not right. That advice is actually going to get you in trouble. It's going to get your business in trouble. So I created a course on that. And one of the things that I realized is that some of the bad advice was actually coming from people who call themselves accountants, or people who identify as, hey, I'm a tax specialist or a tax expert. Now, so I created this course to kind of walk people through the framework on, like, hey, here's some of the common mistakes that people make. And here are some of the ways that you're making these mistakes, is because the accountant you hire or the accountant you're working with isn't really providing you real context, or isn't helping point these things out for you. So you're running into problems. So I created that so people could understand that, because I don't think that you should be paying an accountant who is giving you bad advice, or giving you advice that is not contextual to your business, and that could eventually get you into trouble because you work way too hard about it. So I always tell people that that's part of the reason I created, I made that post about, hey, you might need to fire your accountant. And then I started creating courses to where it's like, you may want to stay with your accountant. So, but if you're going to stay with your accountant, hey, at least buy this course, and that way you'll have at least some idea of some of the questions that you need to ask your accountant, because sometimes your accountant, a very busy person, now they should be serving you, but they may be a very busy person, and you may have to just ask some questions or bring some stuff up. If that's the case, that's fine. I understand. Let's roll with it. But the course really does do a good job of kind of breaking it down. So the thing that I said is, like, hey, you probably, many business owners probably should fire their accountant for many reasons. And I understand there are some people who they love their accountant, they don't want to fire their accountant. That's okay. That's cool. Keep who you got. But one of the things that I do want to help out as many people as possible, where I do create a lot of self-study solutions and courses on the Business Talk Library University, where you can go to that platform, you can buy different courses on different subject matters that your accountant may not be helping you understand, but probably should. And you can pick up those courses. Those courses will help give you a little bit of guidance, because let's say you still want to stay with the person that you have, but you want to get some more insight. Those courses are great for you. They're affordable courses, and they're self-paced, so you can get them and you can do them at your own pace. And then also, with a lot of accountants, I do what I call a CFO deep dive, where my background is more CFO kind of strategic from a finance and accounting standpoint, and where we do a one-on-one or one-to-many session, however many people you want to invite from your team on this session. And we really dive in the numbers, and we look at your business and really help you understand it. Like last week, I was meeting with a business owner, and we walked through it, really helped them understand some very critical things. And by the end of our, end of 2-hour session, he walked away and said, oh my gosh, I did not understand any of this stuff about my business, but this gives me a whole new perspective. So that's why I created the post of, hey, when you need to fire your accountant, please look out for that course. Is coming soon, where I'm going to dive a lot deeper into that subject matter.